Oh, good evening. I don't have an intro for the bracket chat, so bracket chat. We're stalling a little bit, just hopefully we'll get maybe like one or two more people in, because it makes the brackets better. But so far out there, we've got Sergeant Joe Smith, Krabby Turtle, who I think might have gone back to bed. I don't know. Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, Defense Dad, and you should have a link, Defense Dad, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, he says his computer's doing a system update. It takes 45 minutes, plus he's already in bed.
You should have a smartphone.
I forgot I could text the guy.
What is out there? Misfits Darling. Good evening, good evening. Well, I don't know. Do you want to look at what I have for the bracket so far?
Sure.
Well, we're kind of stalling.
Absolutely.
So, maybe I will do. Oh, hang on here.
I can just about bet you I've never owned anything on this list, but we'll see.
So I think I'll do it this way. I'll show pictures of each car, and then I'll call up the bracket.
Oh, so we have to guess what it is. Cool.
Well, I had them in. Let me try. There we go. So this one I wasn't sure of, the 57 Bel Air, because it's not really a muscle car. It's kind of early in muscle E, but with the 283.
Yeah, but you could customize them to where they would be.
Yeah.
I saw that happen a few times.
Yeah, I personally I prefer the 56s they don't have the big fins. They have the kind of smaller, more rounded fins.
I love tail fins.
But that's just me. So we've got the 57 Chevy Bel Air and the 66 Olds 442. Oh, and for these, it's not so much the specific model, but kind of these represent the model. So, like the 44 Chevy SS versus, a different model Chevy, like Nova or Chevelle. It's more about that body style. But that's what is pictured is kind of what I've like. This is a 66 Old 442. This is a convertible model. 66 Shelby Cobra.
Good choice.
And I don't remember because the first ones had the 283. And I'm not sure when they bumped up, what year they bumped up in engine size. But
I feel like the Cobra's going to be a tough one to beat.
They are beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Do you say you're going to show the photos?
Oh, I'm looking at the photos. I'm scrolling through the photos, but I didn't actually start sharing. That's going to help me a whole lot,
but I just thought you said you were going to show them.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Yeah, I was scrolling through them as I was talking about them. So this was for people that might not know cars that well. This is the 57 Bel Air.
That is gorgeous.
And then the 66 Olds 442. And that's 4-barrel, 4-speed. Is it Posi? 2-wheel drive? Is that the 2? I can never remember what the 2 is for. And then the Shelby Cobra. And 67 El Camino.
Nice.
In high school, I had a friend that had a 65 with the 327, and that thing was hot. It was fast.
That'd have been awesome.
And the El Caminos, they are so much better than the Rancheros.
Oh yeah.
Rancheros were just god awful ugly. The first generation, the ones that look like Falcons, those are okay, but rest of them just are really, really ugly. Excuse me. 67 Pontiac GTO Judge.
Oh,
So you got to have a GTO in there.
that is one of my favorite cars ever.
A 64 Chevy Impala.
Ooh.
Rolling down the street in my 6.4.
Oh, those were super cool, though.
Yeah. 68 Chevy Nova. This one's an SS. I have never liked the look of the Novas.
I don't know, something about them I don't mind. They're
Jack up the rear end on those things fairly easily. Yeah.
68 Chevy Camaro. This is a Yinko.
nice.
And it's kind of funny. The Yinkos, the stripes, the Yinko, the dealership, his daughter would ride home from school on a bicycle and then apply those stripes for the dealership. And when they do test drives, there was a road next to a cemetery, and he'd take them over there where they could, let out all the horses. Bjorn's out there, Mike McLuhan, and there is a chance that some of these years might be a little bit off. I was going by when I grabbed the picture what they said it was on some of them. So, and the Camaros, I really like this body style. I like the 67 and 68s. The 69s have a little more squared off in the rear, which I don't think looks as good. And I kind of go back and forth between 67 and 68 because of the wing window. 67 has one, 68 doesn't. I don't know which one I like more. Uh, 68 Chevelle. I love the look of the Chevelle.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole line from start to finish, all of them looked good when you get in the Malibus and stuff. '68 Dodge Hemi Charger. I'm a big Mopar fan. That's what I had for muscle cars. I don't know if I ever actually had a muscle car. I had a 67. I had 69 Dart. I had a 68, which I used for parts. Had a 68 Satellite, which was my favorite car. The Satellites were basically like a Roadrunner-ish, but the more luxury. But mine only had a 318 in it. Well, you can tell it's a 68 because of the little round side marker lights. 69 had the square ones lower down. And a 68 Plymouth Hemi Roadrunner. This is what my Satellite looked like without the bump in the hood. Mine was green. '70 Dodge Hemi Challenger and plum crazy.
Nice.
And a '70 Plymouth Cuda. To me, these are gorgeous. These are gorgeous cars.
Mm-hmm. Used to be one here in town. I remember seeing that car.
There used to be a Mopar shop where they rebuilt Mopars basically the next town over. I don't think they're there anymore, but you used to see them all the time parked on the street. And the 77 Pontiac Firebird, this was more just because of I needed to fill out the chat, and it's Smokey and the Bandit.
So is that a Trans Am or not?
Yes.
Okay.
59 Corvette.
Awesome.
I debated a little bit whether to go with the first gen, the C1s, or a Stingray.
I was wondering if you were going to say a Stingray.
But I didn't want to put two different years of the same model, so I had to kind of choose.
Used to be one here in town that looked just like that. Same paint job and everything.
And a 60, I think it's a 68 Mustang GT350. I think it was the GT350 when it came out. It set the record for 0 to 60 to 0. It could do that the fastest.
I'm trying to remember.
You had the Hertz who rented those, and then people would weld in the roll cage and take them and race them. Or some people would swap out the motors and return them. And I think that's all 16 that we've got so far.
Well, I saw a demand out there for a Buick from somebody.
The Skylark?
Oh, well,
the
GNX.
Yeah, that was one of the problem with wanting to do 16 is there's a bunch you're going to have to leave off. So these were just the ones I came up with. Michael Dunn saying the GT 500 were better. Yeah, but the 350 is more, I think, is more iconic than the 500 GT 500. So let me stop screen sharing that. I don't know. Was there any of them that you want to change off that list?
Can't really make a convincing argument.
I mean, I could think of one or two, but not worth it.
Well, it's pretty solid list.
Yep.
Like I said, the only one that I really wasn't sure about was the Bel Air. But that was partly just I couldn't think of anything else when I made the list.
There's not one DeSoto on that list.
Can't believe the DeLorean's not on this list. Like, what the frick?
Well, the DeLorean's problem was that 6-cylinder. Because I didn't have money to put a better motor in it. Shuffle. All right. Well, I guess nobody else is going to join us. No one else cares about muscle cars.
No one.
No, they just want all those electric cars now. Bunch of Tesla owners.
Let me share this real quick just to see if anybody's awake.
Probably to ban Tesla too.
Boom. Woods is going to bed. He's no fun.
Oh, he's an old man. Yeah, have a good night, Woods.
Bye, Woods.
Nightwoods. Excuse me.
So, well, I guess we'll start with our 64 Chevy Impala versus a 59 Chevy Corvette.
Ooh.
Gary, what would you choose?
Ew. Just for what I'd rather have, or which one would win in a race?
You can use whatever metric you want to choose.
Gosh, I hate to make. I'm gonna go with the Corvette.
How about you, Barbecue?
Never heard a gangster rap song talking about rolling down the street in my 5.9, so I'm gonna go with the Impala.
Oh, so I got to break the tie.
Yep.
Michael Dunn said Impala. Mike McClune said Impala. Mike McClune said it's because he's fat and the C ones are small.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Ozzy Osbourne said Impala. This is a tough one.
Wow.
Yeah, this is really tough.
What does the Foss say?
Oh,
Finstead
Finstead
says
said
Corvette. Yeah.
Corvette just for the cool.
They
I'm
still-
leaning Impala. Oh, I made a tough one to start.
You
Be
did.
true to your heart, Foss. Be true to your heart.
I would say I'm gonna have to say Impala.
Wow.
Yeah. Michael Dunn said vets are for old men with too much money. What do you think about the new vets with the mid-engine?
Haven't even heard about it.
Eh.
I don't know. They're more Ferrari-ish. They just don't seem like a Corvette anymore. But I've never owned one. Will never own one. So now we've got the 77 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am against the 68 Chevy Camaro Yenko. Gary?
Firebird.
One for the Firebird. How about you, Barbecue?
I'm gonna say Yankos are supposed to be pretty friggin' awesome, but pretty sure he was never doing anything eastbound down and trucking, so we're definitely going with Trans Am.
Oh. Sorry, Joe Smith had said Corvette for the last one, but Michael Dunn said Camaro. Sergeant Joe Smith said Trans Am. Ozzy Osbourne said Trans Am. Mike McClune said Camaro. So we got a split out there. I would go Camaro, but the Firebird's going to move on.
Sorry.
Yes, Smokey and the Bandit, but car-wise, I would rather have a Camaro.
My 11th grade English teacher had a 1970 Camaro, and he every once in a while he would talk about it, but he told us he bought it brand new, pretty much drove it home off the lot and parked it in his garage, and he would take it out to some car shows every now and then, things like that, change the fluids in it every year, and then it just sits under a tarp in his garage pretty much. And when I was a junior in high school, he said it had a little over 3,000 miles on it, and that was it.
Wow.
I was like, that's insane.
Fastest I ever drove a car was a turbo Trans Am. 140 miles an hour. I
You
still
don't do that
remember the
anymore.
telephone poles zipping by me.
Were you just like screaming eastbound and down while you're
Well,
doing it?
I was in my buddy's car. It was his car, and he wanted me to drive it. And so he said, well, go ahead and give it some gas. So I had it going about 80, 90 miles an hour. He said, go ahead and take it up a little bit. He says, take it up to at least 140. So I did. We were on basically what would amounted to a 4-mile drive from town north of here to this town. And it's like in the minute or minute and a half that I had it going that fast, it was like he was already 3/4 of the way into town. But I mean, with the big wide tires and everything on it, it was smooth as glass. Didn't have any problem handling it.
Probably the fastest I've driven was 125, maybe 130. That was maxing out what my car could do.
I had my dad's Oldsmobile Delta 88 up to 105 once. He didn't know about it.
My Ford 500, I had an 05 Ford 500. It had a V6, but it had the rev limiter. So it would go to 120, but then it would mess with the timing. So it would go and keep you from going over 120. I'm sure it would have done at least 130. No problem. X-Adam once, I've never had a car that fast. My 04 Honda only goes 130, but it can still do it after all these years. Most new cars are governed at a 105.
My Chevy Cruze was governed at 112.
Michael Dunn, I had my mom's 89 Grand Prix up to 120 once. So now we've got a 68 Dodge Charger against a 68 Chevy Malibu. Gary?
68 Charger, 68 Malibu. Gosh, Charger.
One for the Charger. Barbecue?
Can you throw up the photo of the Malibu again? If not, no worries.
Well, yeah, I can do that. Hang on here. I just got to open it back up. Malibu. So let me get the window, get that. And,
yeah, that's what I thought.
I had a friend in high school that he had a 68 Malibu, but he only had the 302 with a 2-speed.
This is a tough one. Does the Charger come equipped with a Dixie horn?
I debated whether to put the General Lee on here or not.
So, man. No, I'm gonna have to go with. Yeah, I'll send mine out to the audience. I can't pick.
Well, so far we've got Malibu, Michael Dunn, Mike McClune, Malibu, Defense Dad Charger, Sergeant Joe Smith Malibu, Ozzy Osbourne Charger, X-Adam 1 Charger. So I think we're split out there. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then I will vote Charger, just because it's a bit more rare. I'm a fan of the older Malibus where they're a bit more square.
Yeah. Those were nice too.
Like the early GTOs.
Yeah. Well, I will. This is another tough one because, like I said, I'm huge in Mopar, but I've always liked the look of the Malibus. I'll give Malibu a vote just because it doesn't matter. When I learned to drive on a '79 Malibu wagon, the Dragon wagon, it had a 305, and it did pretty good. I never lost a race. No, I didn't race any of the muscle cars, but anything else I went up against, it held its own. Oh, so we've got 66 Shelby Cobra, 66 Olds 442.
Ooh.
That's kind of a toughie. Gizzard, how about you?
Well, since I'm old, I'm going to go with the Oldsmobile.
One for the Oldsmobile. Little barbecue.
This is a tough one. One of my favorite card games is actually called 442. If you're wondering what it's called, that you get 4 cards. 4s are wild, and you can drop to 2. And 442 is just awesome car. But so is the Shelby, and I'm gonna go with the Shelby, one because I want to see what Foss does for the tiebreaker, and 2, in the Flintstones movie, there was a car that made out of rock that looked like a Shelby. Plus, my niece's name is Shelby, so I kind of have to vote for this one.
Ozzy said 442. Michael Dunn 442 because the Shelby's a death trap. Defense Dad said Cobra, and Sergeant Joseph said Shelby. This is another tough one. If I'm gonna go 442, the Olds.
Ooh.
If the Shelby was up against something else, like the Bel Air, I would go Cobra. But I've always liked the look of the Olds, like the Skylark and the 442s. I had a friend, high school, had a Skylark, beautiful blue Skylark. I think he had the white interior. And I've told the story before where his girlfriend got kicked out of school and she would sit in the parking lot in his car all day while he was at school. She took off one day in the car, came back, both sides dented.
Oh.
Bumper to bumper. And he would never talk about how that happened. X Adam 1 said Cobra. And he said he's going based on looks and what would be fun to drive, not top speed, power, cost, etc. So now we've got the 57 Bel Air and the 68 Chevy Nova. Gary, which one are you going to go for?
I guess I'm going to go with the 57.
Barbecue.
Tail fins all day, baby.
Michael Dunn said Nova. Defense Dad said Bel Air. Sergeant Joe Smith said Nova. Oh, so it's for the 442, 4-barrel, 4-speed, dual exhaust. That was.
Oh, okay.
And that was, he said it was the original on the police package for the F85 volts. Ozzy said Bel Air, X Adam Bel Air, Mike McClune, Nova. I'm going to go Bel Air. Because I have never been a fan of the Novas. But the square Novas, like what is it, 65? Those ones are okay, but after that, I really don't care for them. So 68 Plymouth Roadrunner, 67 Ford Mustang, the 350 GT 350.
Ooh.
Gary,
Meep meep.
one for the Roadrunner. That's their horn. That's what the horn actually sounded like on the Roadrunner. It kind of went meep meep. Barbecue.
I'm gonna have to vote for Eleanor.
Well, the original Eleanor was not a GT 350. In the original Fast or Gone in 60 Seconds, which is a better movie. Probably one of the
Go ahead.
greatest car chases ever filmed is in the original Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's what I've heard.
It's a terrible movie, except for the car chase.
So what was the original Eleanor?
It was, God, it was like a 70, like a Boss looking Mustang.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I gotta look it up here on the Google machines. It was not an attractive car, in my opinion. It didn't look as good as
Boss.
didn't look
I
as
like-
good as the other one.
I like the Boss.
It didn't.
I also like the Mach 1s.
So it was a 71 Fastback.
Oh,
It
okay.
was the original Eleanor.
So close.
Yeah. There was a girl in high school that I was sweet on, that she had a 67 Fastback with a 350. Oh, that was nice. She let me drive it after school one day, and I was crossing an intersection and put the pedal down and just to go, and it just lit them up, and I wasn't even meaning to burn out. Really nice car. Which I think I've told that story too, where I ended up pissing her off, so we didn't. I was gonna go to prom with her, made her mad, and I ended up going to prom with her best friend. And we never really talked after that again.
You stud.
Caucasian Sasquatch is out there.
What kind of car did her best friend have?
She drove. It's like a Grand Cherokee, but she was short, so she had a big pillow she sat on.
I feel like that's probably the better choice. I feel like any chick that's driving a fastback Mustang was probably just as fast as the car.
Michael Dunn said Roadrunner. Defense Dad Mustang. Sergeant Joe Smith Mustang. Timothy Burkett, 5-window with a new 427 small block. That sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Caucasian Sasquatch was out there. Mike McClune said Roadrunner. Ozzy said Roadrunner. Michael Dunn said great movie. And two of the greatest, I think, car chases, Gone in 60 Seconds, the original Gone in 60 Seconds, and Ronin. With I can't think of his name. De Niro.
Talking about Heat?
No.
Okay. I'm sick because I didn't remember much of it. I mean, there was a chase scene in there, but it was like the shootout scene was incredible.
No, it's De Niro is there. There's a group of ex-military spies, whatever, and they're hired to steal this thing. And there's a chase that happens during the movie, and it's a really good car chase. X Adam 1, my buddy had a yellow 68 Roadrunner muscle car, but I like the 67 Mustang. And Caucasian Sasquatch votes for 69 Chevelle Super Sport every time. I got to get back to, there we go. I'm going to go Roadrunner
Oh,
because it looks like my Satellite that I had, which I loved that car.
oh wow, that kind of hurt my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting that.
Again, this is one where if the Mustang had been up against something else, like the El Camino, I would have gone Mustang. So 67 Pontiac GTO Judge, 70 Plymouth Cuda.
Oh,
This is tough. I like both these cars.
So what are you going to choose, Gary?
I'm gonna have to go GTO.
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge.
well, I already announced to you guys when this came up. Judge was one of my favorite cars ever. GTOs, period, hands down. I mean, aside from wagons, like if I got to choose from sedans and coupes and stuff, GTOs are my favorite. So, yeah, definitely going with the Judge. But man, the Cuda, man, if it was not against the GTO, probably would have my vote. But
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cuda. So Sergeant Joe Smith said Nash Bridges Cuda. X Adam 1 GTO. Mike McClune, little GTO. Really looking fine. Defense Dad Cuda. I almost bought a 65 Le Mans. Friend's brother in high school was selling his. And he, before I could buy it, he ended up selling it to somebody else. Yeah, that's what the GTOs come from, the Le Mans.
yeah,
So for the last two, Gunmetal Guy USA is out there listening. 67 El Camino, 70 Dodge Challenger. Gary.
Oh, let's go with the El Camino.
If G Webs was here, he'd go El Camino. He loves El Caminos. Barbecue.
so I do like my El Caminos to have tail fins, but I'm gonna go El Camino over Challenger. I'm just
Really?
the Challengers like that cousin that you're embarrassed to tell everybody about. Like, yeah, it's my cousin, but we don't tell anybody that we got him.
Well, I'm going to vote Challenger. But the Challenger kind of came in when the muscle car was dead. It was kind of at the end of the era when
Yep.
the emissions was choking muscle cars. And
Mm-hmm.
but
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's that dumb cousin where you're like, yeah, like he's here, he's part of the family, but we don't really claim him. You know, like you got the family where it's like, yeah, we got cousin Cuda here, we got cousin Charger over here. That one, yeah, that's cousin Challenger over there. Just ignore him. Sorry. Like, yeah, it's still a muscle car, and if you got one, good on you. But
yeah. So Michael Dunn's the Challenger. Ozzy Osbourne El Camino. Mike McClune El Camino. X Adam 1 El Camino. Michael Dunn Ranchero. Sergeant Joe Smith El Camino. Next Adam 1. Why don't you call it The Way? I'm not sure what. Call what The Way?
If he's trying to translate that from Spanish, El Camino actually translated means the road.
No. Mike McLuhan had a 72 Ranchero. Wish I did not get rid of it. I will say the Ranchero with a 429 still would be ugly, but it would be fast.
It would be.
I knew some chicks like that in high school.
They're my favorite.
So we've got 64 Impala, 77 Firebird Trans Am.
Ooh.
What are you going for, Gary?
TA.
Wow. Barbecue.
You got to choose between NWA and Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like, the trucker in me feels like I've got to choose a Trans Am. I got to go with the Trans Am. They got that super awesome eagle on the front, on the hood. Like, it's too cool.
Sergeant Joe Smith said Trans Am. Michael Dunn said Impala. Ozzy said Trans Am. I'm going to go Trans Am this time. The power of the mustache won me over. So
Good
now
job,
we've got,
Heather. Keep growing that.
X Adam 1 said, having been in both, the 64 Impala is very comfortable. Yeah, the one problem with the Firebirds is the T-tops, they always leak.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that I've known with T-tops, they leaked. 68 Dodge Charger, 66 Olds 442. Gary?
Let's go with the big GM 442.
Barbecue.
What? I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna have to go with the Charger.
Charger?
Yep.
Ozzy said 442. The goddamn bacon said sweeping vote for me, Mopar. He's voting all Mopar. Michael Dunn said my T-top Monty never leaked. Sergeant Joe Smith 442. Michael Dunn Charger. I'm gonna go Charger. Even though I think the 442 looks better than the Charger, I'm going to go Charger. So now we've got 57 Bel Air and 68 Plymouth Roadrunner. Gary?
Gotta go Roadrunner on this one.
One for the Roadrunner. Barbecue?
I've got to go with the Bel Air. Again, tail fins, they're one of my weaknesses. And say Bel Air wagons, oh my God.
Yeah, I really good in the rear view mirror from that Roadrunner too.
I almost put a Nomad on here.
Oh man. Oh,
I thought about it. But again, I can't put everything, I only had 16. So
that's my ultimate dream car is a Nomad. Like over anything. You could offer me any car in the world. If a Nomad was on the list, that's what I pick.
Michael Dunn, the Roadrunner. Sergeant Joe Smith, Bel Air. Ozzy Osbourne, Roadrunner. Ron Wayne, Roadrunner. I'm gonna go Roadrunner.
Yeah, the tail fins are great, but you're never going to see them because it's going to be behind you the entire time.
So now we've got a 67 Pontiac GTO Judge and a 67 El Camino.
Oh boy.
Gary.
Well, back in those years, the name Pontiac just screamed performance, so we're going to go with the GTO, man.
One of the most attractive engines I've ever seen was a flathead Pontiac. Who's at the shop of a guy that I knew, and I was having him go. When I rebuilt my 318, the rear seal. I don't know if I damaged it or there's something. There was a problem, so I took it to him, had them fix it. And he had a flathead Pontiac in his shop. He was working on for somebody, and they are beautiful motors. Barbecue.
The Judge.
For Judge, I'm going to go Judge too over El Camino.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got.
If it was an earlier El Camino,
I mean, I hate to see some of these cars lose. Somebody has to lose. That's a bad thing.
Yep.
Michael Dunn said GTO, Aussie GTO. Michael Clune said there was a Yinko Corvair. That's scary.
Unsafe at any speed.
Well, his book there's a little bit of bullshit in there.
Well, it was set up to fail, yes, but.
Goddamn Bacon said GTO is cool, though I like the Camino. Sergeant Joe Smith said the car DeLorean designed. Oh, so now we've got the. Let's get that moved. There we go. 77 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, 68 Dodge Charger. Gary.
Give him the bird.
Barbecue.
Now I got to choose between Burt Reynolds jumping Trans Ams and Bo and Luke jumping endless amounts of Chargers that weren't actually Chargers.
What are you going to do?
I want to radio Uncle Jesse and ask him, but this isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, so I don't get any lifeline, so I got to make a choice here, don't I?
Didn't they have to have about 6 of those cars because they tore them up so bad in some of the stunts they did?
You wouldn't radio Barbara Bach instead?
Maybe.
You would radio Uncle Jesse over
I'm going to go with a Trans Am. Well, Uncle Jesse was full of all that infinite wisdom. I'm not going to be like Enos and just, be thinking with my weenus.
Michael Dunson Charger, Sergeant Joe Smith, Bandit car, Ozzy Osbourne, Trans Am. Mike McClune, when I think of Badass Charger, I always think of the black one from the movie Built Myself.
Plus, I love the line in Smoking the Bandit, when we get home, remind me to punch your mama in the mouth.
I'm going to go Charger, but the Firebird's moving on.
There is no way. No way.
I did not see that happening.
My loins.
So now we've got the 68 Roadrunner and the 67 Judge.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Gary?
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to the Judge.
One for the Judge.
I'm voting for the Judge.
2 for the Judge. Oh, I'm going Roadrunner, but the Judge is going to move on. So
All GM final.
Michael Dunn said Roadrunner. Sorry,
The way
Joseph.
God intended it.
All Pontiac final. Wow.
The way
It's not,
God intended it.
I can't say I'm completely surprised, but I'm a little surprised.
I'm a little surprised that Trans Am made it this far with some of the choices in here. Like the GTO doesn't surprise me. Like, there's definitely some other cars that could very well have made it to the finals, but GTO Judge making it here doesn't surprise me. Trans Am, I think, has ridden here a little bit on Smokey and the Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
So Gary, what are you going to go with?
Well, as much as I love Smokey and the Bandit and all that stuff, when I'm thinking pure muscle car, I go back to that Judge. It's like, well, that kind of blazed the trail for everything that came behind it. So we're gonna have to go with the Judge. It's
One
a
for the
tough
Judge.
call.
Barbecue.
Only 1,700 of them were made. I say I'm going with the Judge.
Oh. I'm actually going to go for the Judge.
Oh,
Going for the tack on the hood. So,
Awesome.
67 Pontiac GTO Judge.
Awesome.
It's the winner of the muscle car bracket. I'm not, I can't, like I said, I can't say I'm completely shocked, but I'm a little surprised.
This is a fun trip down
like-
memory lane, I tell you what, though.
Well, I was going to do just kind of classic cars. And when I went to look for a picture, because the pictures that I did, I tried to find ones that show the body lines in the best way, so you got a good feel for how they look. And so I was trying to find a 67 Bug, and I couldn't find a picture that I liked. Got sidetracked, and then it turned into a muscle car bracket.
This was a very fun one. Thank you, Puss.
Yeah, it was.
This was kind of a tough one. There's a lot of good contenders in there.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, the CUDA going down to the first round, which, I mean, it went down to the eventual champion that won in a landslide in the finals. So, I mean, it has nothing to hang its head about. But, like, again, that's one of those ones where that's a car where I could have seen that one making it to the finals.
I want to go to the car show where all 16 of these cars are. Now, there are some car shows around here where you see a good number of them.
Yeah.
That way. I love going to those things.
Teresa Collins is out there. Good evening. She's up late.
Pinto. Good.
Good evening.
That's my sister.
Oh.
Do you know he makes videos? No.
The things we could tell you about your brother. Yeah. We won't, though.
She's got a cool job. She's a brand ambassador. But so she goes to she's been to, they sent her to the Super Bowl like 2-3 times in the last few years.
Cool.
She went to some NASCAR events. I can't remember if she went to Daytona or not. But she gets to go to a lot of really cool events.
That sounds pretty sweet. When
and
you said
get
that she
paid.
has, that's awesome. Yeah, when you said that she has a cool job, she's I was waiting for you to say, agent for the ATF. You're like, no,
CNT Designs and Arms. Coop's out there. Good evening. Oh. So, I don't know. I don't know if I kind of thought about maybe doing like a once a month bracket chat.
You should.
Maybe I'm not sure. I still haven't decided.
well, if that's the case, on the bright side, I think I should be able to make it to the next one because wrestling season is about all wrapped up. We've got states here in 2 weeks for the Keystone State Tournament, and then we've got the PJW State Tournament the following weekend, and then it's all done except for my old fat guy tournament in the middle of April. So
Next time, maybe we can do muscle pickups or something like
oh
No, because there's like sports
Little Red
cars
Express.
imports. I don't know, like classic cars, but I'm not sure if there's too much crossover with what we already did.
that. Yeah, there would be some. That's for
Yes,
sure.
no. Well, I mean,
We could do a worst car bracket. Then you
Ford
can have your Pintos and your Corvairs, your
Gremlins,
Chevettes.
Chevettes.
Yugo.
Tempo.
Don't forget the Pacer,
Oh yeah.
the ugliest car of all time.
Maybe we'll do that for the next one. Will be the worst car bracket. And we'll stick with, because you get into like Eastern Bloc cars and those were absolute garbage, but maybe just European, American. I don't know if there's any really crappy Japanese ones.
Suzuki.
Well,
Other than rolling over, Samurai's rolling over.
and you had the German imports too.
Yeah.
Well, we've got time to figure it out.
The Volkswagen, the Carmen Ghia.
Oh, the carbon gears, the early, they look like the early Porsches. Coop is saying Pinto would have been a great car, but Ford wanted to cut costs and built a POS. Michael Dunn said Geo.
Oh yeah, I forgot Geo.
Good gas mileage. Ron Wayne said Matchbox versus Hot Wheels. Well, Hot Wheels kind of won that competition.
Unfortunately, I don't know how. Like, I love getting Matchbox cars, mainly because I'm a cheapskate, and Matchbox cars are cheaper. They all rolled the same. They all smashed the same.
I think I always, as a kid, I leaned towards Hot Wheels.
Ozzy has a good idea.
TV cars, Batmobile, Munster Mobile. I thought about that.
Yeah.
That would definitely be a great bracket. There's a picture I saw online. I probably have it on my phone somewhere, but it's a bunch, like the Monkey Mobile, Batmobile, Mystery Machine, a bunch of TV cars, and they're all together. I'm guessing they're all replicas all together in a lot. And I don't have any other context. I don't know if the guy owned all the replicas or there's some kind of meet that was going on.
So is it strictly TV cars, or do movie cars get lumped into that?
I would go probably. There's enough in TV cars to do a bracket.
Yeah, save movie cars for another time. So we could get in our Christines and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been watching Graveyard Cars. It was on, I forget what channel it was on, but it's a shop in Oregon that rebuilds Mopars. And I've been watching them on YouTube, which I love seeing the old Mopars, but it kind of makes me sad that I don't have an old Mopar anymore. And they did a tribute for the Phantasm CUDA, the black on black CUDA and Phantasm. It was more of an homage since they made some changes to it, but great looking car. Baywatch Ford Ranger. There you go. Mike McLuhan. I always wanted GMC pickup truck like Fall Guy show. I even had Hot Wheel version when I was a kid. I like the Simon & Simon Dodge. 18 van, Michael Dunn said. X-Adam 1. The Wraith is the best movie car. It's a terrible movie. The Goddamn Bacon said, how about cars with the worst owner-driver reputations?
Well, I feel like BMW would just win that bracket immediately.
Mike McLuhan's talking about Graveyard Cars. Mark is a knowledgeable guy, but he can be a dick too. He's kind of annoying. Ron Wayne said Uncle Buck's car. Sergeant Joe Smith said James Bond car bracket. Michael Dunn, Mad Max. There's lots of bracket fodder out there. But I think when we reconvene the bracket council, we'll do the worst cars.
Cool.
Hopefully we'll get a couple more people in here.
So speaking of cars, so you guys might get a kick out of this real quick. About a week ago, I found a 77 Country Squire for sale. It was blue with the fake wood paneling. Guy is actually still driving it around as a daily driver. Looks in pretty awesome shape. I was like, oh.
I dated a girl in high school that had a 65 Country Squire with a 352. I think it had a 352 in it. It was a cool old station wagon, and it would boogie. I had a friend in high school that I think they had a Country Squire. He had a 429, and he would race people on the way to church.
That's what this one had.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that thing would.
And
you didn't figure out the miles per gallon on those. It was more gallons per mile, I think.
Well, when he opened it up and it would fly by you, you just hear it sucking in the air.
Yeah,
See the tachometer go up and the fuel gauge go down.
both my daughters love wagons, but I'm like, I've got 3 to 5 years before they're driving. I'm like, that's a long ways to try and store that.
Coop, the cars that women are more likely to get pregnant in. That's more Gary's territory. He probably is.
I only have 2 kids that I know of.
John Brown Productions is out. Good evening. My regrets is I still don't have my 69.5 Super B 446 pack. Wow, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Ozzy saying worst car, Ford Escort. It's in the running. Had a friend that bought 69 Coronet, and he ended up having to have it towed back to his place because I can't remember if it wouldn't start or it quit when he's bringing it back. And I got looking at it, and all it was the distributor wasn't tightened down, so it had turned and was out of time. Set it back to about where it is, and it fired right back up.
Wow.
So, Gary, is there anything you're there you go. Is there anything you'd like to plug here?
Oh, well, let's see. Right now, all I've got coming out of my channel is more knife shorts. I'll try maybe to get some longer format stuff out. I may be able to scramble some stuff up out of some of my SHOT Show footage. Also, I do have couple new knives coming for review here this next week. So there's always Foul Territory on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central. And I'd love to have everybody there. We have a good time. So if you can make it, that'd be great. And as always, thank you for your invite. Enjoyed the bracket. Enjoyed the time here.
Oh, well, I appreciate you jumping in. Barbecue, it has been very nice to see you once again.
You as well. Same.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Well, as far as my channel goes, I've got no content coming out. I've got a couple ideas for content. Whether I get up the gumption to, film and edit and do all that, I don't know. I might be over the YouTube thing. Might just jump into chats like this. But with that, we'll go back to plugging Gary's Foul Territory real quick. He mentioned that he does this thing called Gorn on that show, and I went back and rewatched since I fell asleep before the show started last week, and couldn't help but notice that he said that I was the only person to send in Gorn at that time. So remember to take some photos, send them to Gary, show off some of the goodies that you have. It doesn't always have to be of your firearms. It could be a new knife that you got. I sent in my new gunsmithing bench that I had put together. If it's gun related, I'm sure Gary's going to be glad to have it. And if you happen to have, lever actions that have scopes on them, send those too. Gun Snob loves them.
Yeah, he does. Or if you just have chickens, you could send those in too.
Yeah.
And you're welcome, Ron. And anything that I sent you, you're not obligated to use any of it. So, it won't hurt my feelings if you don't want to use them. So, and I tried to tag on Instagram. I tried to tag you with the, what is it, GGFT or FTGG?
It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it wouldn't come up.
Yeah, I deleted the channel
Oh,
because it stopped working. Instagram pretty much nerfed it, so I gave up. It's like, hey, you have to email.
okay. Yeah, and I didn't know if I didn't want to tag you on your regular because I didn't know if you wanted to be tagged there.
You can tag the Gizzard Gary one if you want to. I don't care.
Oh, okay. So I think we'll have to do this again in maybe next month. Maybe do once a month bracket. I enjoy doing the brackets, but to me, if we do them too often, then they're just not as special. So that's why
it gives you more time to come up with something.
Yeah.
No pressure.
That's why I don't do them very often. I want to keep them special.
We always think you're special.
Michael Dunn was asking, do you like the knife? It's in the other room. Yeah, I put out the review on the Ned Foss DA52. It's a big folding knife. I do like that one. I actually had bought one and gave it, I think X Adam won because I gave it away for a giveaway, but I liked it so much I bought one for myself.
I think there's room in the knife review, in that scheme for you to fit in where you can get lots of people in there. Show us your knives, guys. Come on. Tell us about your knives.
Misty Mrs. Wayne coming in here at the end. Well, I appreciate everybody that was out there in the live chat participating. And if you were watching and didn't say anything, I appreciate you too. Don't be afraid to speak up. Let me know that you're out there. If you watch this in replay, what's your favorite muscle car? I always read the comments. They are always appreciated. And other than that, I don't really have an outro. So I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.